Miss Bossy Boss New Mexico governor cancels the Constitution. Trump, the most popular man on the planet. And will the Democrats create another election pandemic? This is The Loaded Mic, and I'm Dan Woss. There will be no carrying a gun in New Mexico because the Little Miss Bossy Boss governor says so. New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham has declared a public health emergency for the sole purpose of creating an executive order that would prevent people from carrying guns in New Mexico. She obviously has no idea what her job is in government, and she does not understand the Constitution. In a press conference, she's questioned about why she thinks it's okay to violate the constitutional rights of New Mexico residents, and she responds by saying she can suspend the rights of the people whenever she wants as long as she declares an emergency. This is an example of a woman who should have never been elected to office. Now, she claims that constitutional rights are not absolute. She obviously has never read the Constitution or Bill of Rights. And as she's being questioned, she does what leftists typically do, and that is to resort to the emotional argument by talking about the 11-year-old girl that was killed and the parents who suffered loss, as if that is a reason to suspend the constitutional rights of the people in the state of New Mexico. Like all the gun grabbers, she blames human violence on guns and uses the violence as an excuse to create unconstitutional laws by executive fiat. We have video that we're going to show you here shortly. Someone then questions her about why she is not recognizing the fact that there are laws against the crimes that were committed. In response, she goes to the emotional again and says, if I'm unsafe, who is standing up for my rights? Not understanding that you can't protect someone's rights by violating someone else's. And besides that, people don't have the right to be safe. They do, however, have the right to be able to protect themselves. The governor then resorts to the typical go-to propaganda rhetoric that, quote, someone must do something, as if anything, even if it includes violating the rights of New Mexico residents, is a good thing. This so-called governor is then asked if she believes criminals will not carry a gun because of her executive order. She admits that she does not believe they will follow this rule, and then crosses her arms in defiance like a child. This is a perfect example of an irrational person with power creating laws and rules while being emotionally reactive to a situation. She is a childish, foolish woman who just wants to get her way, and she's already said that she doesn't care if she gets sued over it. This is not about stopping crime because she even admits her tactic won't work. This is about an irrational child exerting control for her own selfish benefit. This disgraceful woman should be removed from office immediately for this violation on the very people she represents. This order is already being challenged on constitutional grounds. It's just a matter of time before a flurry of lawsuits start flying. So today on the Loaded Mic Show, I want to talk about this and many other great things. We got such a great show for you today. But I want to talk about this with, you know him and sometimes love him, John Chiara.
Howdy, folks.
And
here it comes.
And
howdy.
And the one and only, and thank God for that, Anthony Diso.
See, can't you do something different? We're so lame.
Oh, you got some applause there.
So I'm a bum and then I get applause? Sounds like Joe Biden's speech somewhere.
You're rooting for the underdog.
Oh, geez. So
She is a foolish woman, isn't she?
she sounds very foolish. I mean, unbelievable. But I before we even get into it, I want to get your comments on it. But we got a clip. We got the actual clip. So can we play that clip and then we'll talk about this?
And I've declared
an oath to the Constitution. Isn't it unconstitutional to say you cannot exercise your carrying license?
with one exception, and that is if there's an emergency, and I've declared an emergency for a temporary amount of time, I can invoke additional powers. No constitutional right, in my view, including my oath, is intended to be absolute. There are restrictions on free speech. There are restrictions on my freedoms. In this emergency, this 11-year-old and all these parents who have lost all these children, they deserve my attention to have the debate about whether or not in an emergency we can create a safer environment. Because what about their constitutional rights? I took an oath to uphold those too. And if we ignore the problem without being bold, I've said to every other New Mexican, your rights are subjugated to theirs. And they are not, in my view.
Well, wait a minute, you're talking about crimes. There are already laws against the crimes, so how are their
I
rights?
got it. But again, if I'm unsafe, who's standing up to that vote? If this climate is so out of control, somebody should do something. I'm doing as much as I know to do.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Do you really
Listen to
think that
this.
criminals are going to hear this message and not carry a gun in Albuquerque on the streets for 30 days?
No.
No. She even admits it.
She's so stupid.
Oh my God.
You know, this is what I'm talking about with libtards. I mean, seriously,
Throwing around names.
what she just did made no sense at all. So I'm taking your gun away, but the criminals aren't going to stop.
Right. And she knows it.
So your law isn't working already. 10 seconds in, it's already not working.
I think Gun Owners of America was the first one to file a lawsuit. I mean, they're always first at it, first in line. Gun Owners of America is probably the one organization that really puts themselves on the line. But
Yeah.
She actually may be dumber than Botox BI.
she might be. I don't know. John, what are your thoughts?
BI.
That's Governor Hochul
It's
to
the
all
same
the
argument we always
lapers.
make. You pass a law and the criminals don't follow it. So what's the deal? And she admits that right there. We have to do something. Okay, how about you quit?
Yeah. How about you quit and we put somebody in there who knows what the hell they're doing?
How about you put criminals in jail?
Yeah, that'd be a nice idea.
No, they just run rampant.
That's the problem. They're letting the criminals out, and they're trying. I'm convinced they're trying to create some sort of victim predator society here.
Making it legal to steal stuff and stuff. And nobody's reporting it
Yeah.
all over the country.
Like $950 in some states, so you can steal all you want, and not get prosecuted as long as it's.
Well, that's if you're a liberal.
Well, that's
now,
true.
if you, me, and John went to Walmart and
First of all, we
sold
wouldn't be
$9.50 a
stealing
piece,
anything.
they'd be like, "Well, you look like dirty conservatives.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to put you in jail for a
I'd
year."
feel pretty funny walking out of Walmart with a cart full of stuff and not paying for it.
Oh,
That's
liberals
tough.
don't have a
People
problem
with
that.
morals would.